What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. I thought today we would take a look at some interesting Hasbro Star Wars Vintage Collection sales. One of them not a sale, but I thought it was worth showing you guys. And all of these sales happened, I'd say, in the last 3 to 5 days. And I'm trying to include more items from overseas because looking at my YouTube statistics, I've got a lot of folks in the UK and elsewhere that enjoy these kind of sales updates. So I thought it was important to also show sales for those of you across the pond. And I wanted to start with this one. This sale absolutely blew my mind. I cannot believe it sold for this. If you remember from one of my recent vintage collection market updates, I said, for a no Wookiee braids VC 186 Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, I'd probably pay 50 to 75 bucks. Well, this was an auction. And clearly the market says that the Action Figure Grader is a complete idiot because this price blew my mind. This sold 3 days ago on May 29th. This was a no Wookiee braids factory error VC 186, 34 bids. It sold for $400. Now, look, people, if whoever bought this is watching the channel, it's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. But in my opinion, to pay this much money for just a missing accessory is really crazy. I just wouldn't pay this. All three of my vintage true miscards, where I've got a carded figure on the incorrect card, that's a much more rare item in my opinion, or much more desirable item. I paid nowhere close to that $400 price point for any of them, you know. So, this is just a simple missing accessory, and to pay $400 is just, it's crazy. It's your money. You can do whatever you want with it, but I would never pay anywhere close to that. I still think a $50 to $75 price point is the fair number for just a missing accessory, but what do I know? It is Boba Fett. It does have the Boba Fett tax, but I had to point this one out. Now, this is one that was shown by a gentleman in the Facebook Vintage Collection group. This is another miscard, and he had it listed briefly. This is the Luke Hoth reissue on the reissue Emperor's Royal Guard card back. So this is another factory miscard. He showed it on Facebook. He got deluged with private message requests wanting to buy it. He put it up on eBay for $990, and then he bumped the price up to $1,125, and then it went away. It was taken off of eBay. But I captured the link because I wanted to show you another kind of rare miscard. Again, this is from that repack wave that we just got in retail. But this is the Luke Skywalker and Hoth gear on the Emperor's Royal card back, another kind of crazy miscard. And I'm assuming that somebody reached out to him on Facebook and bought it privately. I have no idea what the final number was, but I would guess it's got to be in that $800 or $900 range minimum to convince him to take it off of eBay. But a really interesting miscard there that he wanted a lot of money for, and given where some of the other miscards have gone recently, I guess that's kind of the market right now. So anyway, I don't know the true sales price, but I just thought I'd share that one. Another interesting one that I'm not convinced sold because it got relisted, but this is one that I would really like to get. This is an Ashley Eckstein autographed Ahsoka, the original issue, obviously, VC 102 Ahsoka, that, it's been signed by the actress who voiced Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, Ashley Eckstein. So this was listed at $900, and then the best offer was accepted, and then it got relisted. So I'm assuming that somebody made an offer that he accepted and didn't pay. So it's since been relisted on eBay, but a pretty cool item. And I would think it's probably going to sell, given that ungraded, unautographed items can sell for unautographed VC 102 can sell for $700-800 now. I would think that this thing would sell pretty quick. It's been relisted on eBay for $950, so it's up there right now, at least as of the making of this video. But I got a couple of others here, VC 13, that I wanted to show you, that the same seller listed both of these. Now I owe you guys an apology. In one of my other recent pricing videos, I showed I believe it's VC04, the Luke Bespin that was unpunched, the original issue, and that one sold for $500. It was graded already. And I said, why would anyone pay $500 for that? Well, Boss Bounty, obviously you guys know him, the YouTuber. He said those early VC issues up to about VC 16 or so, if they're unpunched, they're very difficult to find. And so I owe you guys an apology because I didn't know that. I didn't know that there was a massive price difference for, these early VCs that were unpunched. And this is an example of one. This is the VC 13 where the name pill has Darth Vader. And I always thought this one was the more rare one, but again, Boss Bounty corrected me and my lack of knowledge on that. And this is the more common variant of Anakin, but having the Darth Vader pill. But that one's still sold in an auction at $217 plus $10 shipping. So that's a pretty high price. But he also had the Anakin Skywalker name pill. Now, this is the one that Boss said is the more rare version. And again, unpunched, so pretty hard to find apparently. And that one sold for a massive number. It sold for $450, 40 bids. And that one just closed 2 days ago. So that was one I was watching and was considering. But once the price jumped from it's interesting, it was at 240 and then it jumped to like 415. And then I guess apparently somebody withdrew their bid and it dropped back down to 240. But then in the last few minutes of the auction, it went all the way back up to $450. So that was the final closing sales price, $450 for VC 13 Anakin Skywalker with the Anakin Skywalker name pill. So my knowledge clearly is I'm still learning these prices, and that one was a shocker to me, but and it was a shocker to some of the other folks like John Miko in the Facebook group and Boss, but apparently that one is pretty expensive. A couple of others to keep an eye on if you don't have them yet, that I would probably put this one on your radar if it's one that you want. And that's Ayla Secura. Her price has kind of been creeping up a lot lately. And this one was listed in the Netherlands. This Netherlands seller had a bunch of really beautiful unpunched examples. And I've got a number of other items from the auctions here that ended a couple days ago. But this one, this is one that I've been seeing everywhere that's been slowly creeping up in price. And this one was awfully pretty. This one was the European card back with the warning sticker over top of the back of the card back. And it was in great condition. And it sold for $167 US. And I would have had to pay another $35 shipping. So this is one I don't have. But I think for those of you who are looking for this one, I probably would not wait around for this because it seems like VC 85 is really jumping up over the last couple of months. It used to be, I don't know, 80 to $100, and now it's more like 150 to 200 once you factor in shipping. So keep that in mind. The next one, this is another one that the same seller had that I would also recommend keeping an eye on, and that's Bastilla Shan. I don't know how you pronounce her name, but this is an expanded universe character that I don't have, and her price, it's always been pretty high. It's always been higher than Ayla Secura, but that price has been jumping up a lot recently too. But this one was a beautiful unpunched example, and that one sold for $181 plus, for me anyway, it would have been another $35 shipping. And I believe this was the US card back. So a really nice item. It had a little bit of curl on the back of the card and some minor damage. You can see here the creasing. So this one wasn't even mint, but still, it went for $181. So I would say that in terms of figures that maybe are not on your radar to keep an eye on, that have been creeping up, it would be these two, Bastilla Shan and Ayla Secura. A Jango Fett VC34 is another one that this seller had, U.S. card back. That one sold for $220 plus $35 for shipping for anyone in the U.S. That seems pretty fair, honestly. I think if I was overseas and still needing a Jango, that seems to be about the going rate here in the U.S. too, is kind of $200 to $225. So, and that was a nice example. Another clone I wanted to talk about, and one that I was actually thinking about bidding on this one, but I ended up getting some vintage Kenner stuff that's on the way now. But this was Clone Commander Cody. This is the Ultimate Galactic Hunt foil, and it looked to be in amazing condition overall. Just some very, very light edge wear. That one sold for $260, free shipping. So I was thinking it was going to be around that price point. I think I had a snipe in set up for $275, so maybe that would have won it. I don't know. But that seems to be about the right number now for that foil clone Commander Cody, and it's one that was on my watch list, and I almost bid on this before I pulled the trigger on some other items that I'll show you probably later this week. So another one that is obviously we all know about the Revenge of the Jedi version that came in the SDCC Death Star pack, but this Return of the Jedi one seems to be jumping up in price. It had a little bit of a crease on the punch. It's unpunched, but it had a little bit of crease on that one, and overall pretty good shape, probably 85 plus condition. But that's the Return of the Jedi card back, and that one sold for $300 in an auction here in the U.S. So that's one that I'm sure you guys were well aware of, given that one's been expensive for a while now. But I don't see those Return of the Jedi versions come up very much. It's usually that Revenge of the Jedi for whatever reason. So another one that we all know has been jumping up like crazy in prices, another bounty hunter, and that's Shea Vizla, the Old Republic bounty hunter. This one was a pretty beautiful example, just some very minor edge wear. This, again, was the same seller in the Netherlands. So, I mean, this seller had just some amazing items, and this was the U.S. card back unpunched, and it sold for a big number, which you kind of expect. This is another one I was thinking about bidding on, but it's hard to make the numbers work for me for items that are at auction overseas, just given the shipping costs. You know, it would have been $35 shipping plus the cost of the item, and the winning bid was $385, which, you know, there's some pretty close to the same condition examples still on eBay right now in that price point. So it just didn't make sense to go anywhere near the kind of closing bell for this one. But it seems like on the low end, 350 to as high as 400 is for an ungraded Shea Vizla is the number now. So that's another one that's really jumped up a lot in value over the last 6 months. Finally, before we wrap this up, I wanted to show this one because, well, if you track the foil version of VC09 Boba Fett, the Ultimate Galactic Hunt version with the Boba Fett offer, I always love this one because it's Boba Fett on the foil card back with the Boba Fett offer with the rocket firing Fett. It's kind of a cool aesthetic to it, in my opinion. And they've been selling, I don't know, I mean, you know, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I've seen a few sell in C9 condition for, I'd say on the upper end, 150 to 200, but this one sold at 350, best offer accepted. Seems like an overpay to me. And I remember the gentleman posting about this one on Facebook and asking if that price was fair. And before he waited for feedback, he pulled the trigger on it. So it's your money. You can do what you want with it. But I think if you're asking folks for feedback on pricing and then you don't wait for it before you buy it, I just feel like, you know, I don't know what he paid for it. I haven't looked it up. There's a website apparently that you can use to find these best offer accepted prices, but I haven't checked it out yet. But anyway, that just seemed pretty high to me. I don't know what the number was, probably 300. It seems like on the upper end of the scale for that figure. So that's all I really had. I hope that you enjoyed looking at some of these recent sales. I'm going to do another one here probably later this week with some beautiful loose crated as well as mint on card Kenner items that have sold recently that I've been tracking. Really nice foreign variants, things like that. And you guys seem to enjoy them, so I enjoy putting them together. So if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe for future content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.